He calmly explained everything to the authorities once they arrived, openly admitting to the murders, but offering no real explanation for why he did it. He described his obsession with control and possession, and his twisted desire to create a zombie-like state in his victims, which he hoped would leave them docile and submissive. 3. Dahmer's confession and the psychological insights since arrested. Dahmer became more than just a criminal, he became a subject of psychological intrigue. His confession, which included details of 17 murders over a span of 13 years, revealed the depth of his depravity. Dahmer openly admitted to the brutal killings, describing how he would lure victims to his apartment, drug them, strangle them, and then dismember their bodies. His calm demeanor during his confession was chilling, and it provided a stark contrast to the horror of his crimes. What made Dahmer's case unique was the psychological complexity behind his actions. Dahmer was not just a murderer driven by a singular urge to kill. He was a man who, for years, had been manipulating his victims in a calculated manner. His need for control over others was rooted in deep feelings of loneliness and abandonment, and his distorted desires led him to commit acts that were beyond comprehension. Experts would later explore Dahmer's psychological background, noting that he seemed to have antisocial personality disorder (ASPD). He showed no empathy for his victims and had a complete lack of remorse for his actions. He even went so far as to say that he didn't want his victims to die immediately, but rather, he wanted to keep them alive for longer periods, attempting to mummify them or even keep them conscious so that they could be controlled. Psychologists also pointed out that Dahmer's obsession with zombies and the idea of creating submissive, lifeless individuals was a direct reflection of his psychosis. Dahmer wanted to possess his victims in a way that went beyond death. It was his way of overcoming his deep sense of isolation, his need to possess another human being entirely so they could never leave him. Dahmer's distorted relationship with death and control is what ultimately led him to commit unspeakable acts. 4. The trial and media sensation after Dahmer's arrest and the shocking discovery of his crimes. The world watched as the trial unfolded. The case quickly became a media sensation. Dahmer's trial began in January 1992, and the proceedings revealed further disturbing details about his life and crimes. During the trial, Dahmer pled guilty but insane to 15 counts of murder, and he was sentenced to 15 consecutive life sentences without the possibility of parole. The courtroom was filled with shock and disbelief as Dahmer's actions were revealed in full detail. The case was particularly harrowing because of the way Dahmer had manipulated his victims and the extreme lengths he went to in order to control them, even after death. The trial also brought to light the psychological torment Dahmer must have experienced. He had been living with deep inner turmoil for years, unable to find a way to resolve his inner demons. His confession revealed how much of his actions had been driven by a desperate need to deal with feelings of isolation,